In tonight's headlines, Chief Executive John Lee said the SAR's judicial independence would not be compromised by the resignation of 2 judges from the city's top court. Public housing tenants who have not completed income and asset declaration risk having their homes taken back by the government. And police warn of a surge in illegal football gambling ahead of the forthcoming Euro 2024 championship.
Chief Executive John Lee expressed regret over the resignation of 2 British judges from the Court of Final Appeal. In an abrupt move, Lawrence Collins and Jonathan Sumption, 2 non-permanent judges of the city's top court, handed over their resignations to Lee yesterday. Collins had served on the Court of Final Appeal since 2011 and confirmed his departure due to the political situation in Hong Kong. But the 83-year-old said he had the fullest confidence in the court and the total independence of its members. Sumption, 75, was appointed 5 years ago and is yet to comment on his resignation. The chief executive stressed that the resignations did not compromise the independence of the judiciary, nor will it change the freedoms and rights enjoyed by the SAR under the Basic Law, which allows Hong Kong to recruit judges from overseas. Such appointments are a benchmark for the city's rule of law. Kina Fong, Cable News.
Three people who were arrested last night for allegedly insulting the national anthem have been released on bail. The 2 men and a woman aged between 18 and 31 were detained during the SAR's World Cup qualifier against Iran at Hong Kong Stadium, after they turned their backs and did not stand up when the national anthem was played before the start of the match. Lawmaker Dick Ching-yuan pointed out that people are still learning and digesting the national anthem ordinance and the national security law, and education on the subject is more important than punishment during the process. Another lawmaker, Tommy Chuen, from the catering constituency said, it is the duty of all citizens to respect the national anthem. The trio are required to report to the police in mid-July. Anyone convicted under the national anthem ordinance, which came into effect in 2020, could face up to 3 years in jail and a fine of $50,000. Quentin Yang, Cable News.
With the Euro 2024 football championship just round the corner, authorities are urging the public not to indulge in illegal football betting. Just like other major sporting events, the month-long tournament, which begins in Germany next Friday, is a top draw for big bets. Wu Qinpeng, clinical psychologist with the police force, revealed that at least 70% of the young adults have tried gambling. Many put their first bets when they were as young as 8 while studying in primary 3. Some of them began going down a road of no return due to the encouragement of their families and friends, such as asking them to fill the 4th seat while playing mahjong, he said. Aged 55, Ivan started placing bets at the age of 11, as all of his family members gambled. While trying out his luck allowed him to make easy money, it cost him a lot more. He got divorced and had a stressful relationship with his daughter. Ivan recalled how he was neglected and looked down upon by people around him before he decided to quit gambling 8 years ago. Loan sharks began harassing his friends and families when he could not repay the debt. I once owed my lenders up to $100 million and had to declare myself bankrupt, he added. Acting Superintendent Wang Yufei of the Organized Crime and Triad Bureau pointed out that more illegal gambling websites have allowed punters to place bets using cryptocurrency, as digital assets are hard to trace. But he emphasized that the police is keeping an eye on digital currency movements.
We will also focus on the education and preventions And we will definitely work with the other stakeholders in the community to promote the message that there could be bad consequences by engaging in illegal betting or betting with the bookmaker.
Janice Low, Cable News.
Director of Housing Rosanna Law said most public housing tenants who were suspected of having undisclosed incomes and assets that would have made them ineligible to avail the facility have already made their declarations last month. Speaking on a radio program this morning, Law said out of the 250,000 tenants who were required to go through the process, 88% have already provided all the necessary information.
如果你再唔交或者你冇解釋個原因呢，我哋會假定你係無意繼續租住呢個單位。
Those who fail to declare their assets would risk having their tenancy terminated. The housing chief emphasized that authorities will be extra cautious when handling late submissions. Those who do not provide a clear explanation for late submissions would be considered to have decided not to extend their housing contracts. The authorities have taken back 1,200 flats since the start of the latest round of declarations, and those units will be relocated after renovations. Speaking at the legislative meeting, Chairman of the Subsidized Housing Committee, Clarissa Wong, said the department will conduct a rent review on public housing units this year, and tenants should not expect the authority to impose constant relief measures to alleviate potential economic burdens that tenants may face upon rent increase. Wong said the authority is under a tremendous financial stress to fund the government's 10-year housing supply target, and it is necessary to make rent adjustments. Janice Yu, Cable News.
These rows of carpets are no artificial grass, but real grass that is going to become Kai Tak's latest sports field. Kai Tak Sports Park, the government's largest sports infrastructure project in recent decades, is the first in the city to adopt the lay-and-play turf laying technology. The turfs were first planted in Zhuhai for 10 to 12 weeks and were then transported to the youth sports ground once matured. It only takes 2 to 3 days to lay the turf. Daniel Fan, manager of Kai Tak Sports Park, says the technology is not only efficient in establishing a high-quality playing surface instantly, but also eliminates the lengthy planting process. Another highlight of the project is the use of hybrid turf. The turf consists of 5% artificial grass fibers and 95% of Bermuda grass, a choice of many Asian sports venues, exhibiting heat and drought tolerance.
A hybrid surface is way more stable, way more secure. You're not going to get soggy fields like you traditionally do in wet conditions, so it will certainly allow for more matches in inclement weather.
Since the turf is reinforced with artificial fibers, it's more durable than the traditional ones. Football players will have better stability and traction in their movement. There is also a rainwater collection system beneath the turf. Surplus rainwater will be stored in 3 underground water tanks and recycled for irrigation. The public sports ground, with a seating capacity of 5,000, is suitable for hosting school sports day, local football and rugby matches. It will be open to public for free on non-event days. But residents still have to wait a bit to enjoy the new sports ground, with the project entering its final construction phase and main facilities to be completed by the end of the year. The park is slated to open in the first half of next year. Eugene Ng, Cable News.
The mainland is gearing up for a big travel surge as the Dragon Boat Festival approaches. Taking advantage of the long weekend, as next Monday is a holiday, many people are expected to be on the road for leisure, adventure, and sightseeing. The railways expect more than 14.5 million passenger trips today, and that figure is expected to reach a peak of 70 million tomorrow. A total of 74 million people will travel by train during the holiday, as predicted by China State Railway Group. While extra train services have been added to meet the heavy demand, road traffic is also anticipated to rise. Nearly 40 million vehicles are expected to hit the highways, an increase of about 6% compared to last year. Major aviation hubs will see a steady increase in passenger traffic, with Shanghai Pudong Airport bracing for one of its busiest weekends. Those taking land border crossings, heading to Hong Kong and Macau, will face some wait time. Crossings at Shenzhen Bay Port and the Hong Kong-Macau-Zhuhai Bridge are expected to swell later tonight. Data from mainland tourism platforms showed that bookings for cultural activities and other travel-related products was up 70% compared to the same period last year, with Beijing, Xi'an, Chengdu being the hottest destinations.
将继续延续旅游市场高开稳走的。
President of China Tourism Academy Dai Bing said that the holiday tourism market will continue its strong and stable trend, focusing mainly on folk culture, urban leisure, short-distance travel, and suburban camping. Quentin Yang, Cable News. China's export performance for last month exceeded expectations, marking the biggest increase in 4 months. Outbound shipments grew 7.6% year-on-year, beating the forecast of a 6% increase. Year-on-year imports dropped down to 1.8%, compared with 8.4% increase in April. The trade surplus for the month was nearly 83 billion US dollars. The ASEAN bloc was one of the big markets for mainland exports, marking a 25% increase year-on-year. Exports to the United States grew by 4.8%. Analysts suggest that the global industrial transformation is benefiting China's short-term export performance, and annual export growth is expected to reach 6% this year. But increasing tariffs and trade barriers could put significant pressure on China's export performance next year.